this is Chiwe from One Dog Wolf, and in this video I'll be showing you how to change colors while you're crocheting with the Tunisian Simple Stitch. In the video we're going to be going over how to change colors at the beginning of a row where we've completed one row here, and we're going to switch colors right at the beginning and then switching right in the middle of a row to a different color. And then we'll also go through, because this is blue and we want to use blue up here, how are we going to use the blue again without having to cut it at the beginning of the row. So we're going to be carrying the blue yarn all the way up through and then switching over to the white. And then again we're switching colors here, and let's see. And then in this case we are working one color and then switching to color B and then coming back on our reverse row. And then on the next row, color B ended here, but we need it to start here. So how do we carry that yarn back to where we need it so that we can work all the way across? So we're going to touch on color changing in a couple different ways. For this project, I'm going to be using Lion Brand Woolies Thick and Quick, and I've already created the foundation row where I've chained 13. I've worked my way down, picking up each loop, and then I've finished my reverse row all the way back. So I'm going to finish off this row right here. Okay, so for the first color change, we have one loop on our hook. We're going to insert our hook under this first vertical bar, yarn over, and pull up a loop. So we're going to just work the Tunisian Simple Stitch for a few stitches. Okay, and now we have 5 loops on our hook. Now let's say we want to change colors. I'm going to take my hook and insert it under the vertical bar, but instead of picking up the original color, I'm going to take my new color, just a new piece of yarn, give myself some tail to work with because I'll want to weave that in, and then wrap it around the crochet hook. I'm kind of holding on to both loops so you don't lose the end, and then that's considered the yarn over, and I'm going to pull that up through the vertical bar. Okay. And then I'm going to hold both the end and then the unused color on my right side behind me. So from here, you've switched colors, insert your hook into the next vertical bar, and now you're going to yarn over with the new color and pull up a loop with the new color. And we can continue this down the row. And then here you're going to work into the chain stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. So you can see our stitches, our loops have 2 colors in them now, and now we're going to be working on the reverse row. So the reverse row, we're going to yarn over and make a chain stitch, and then from here we'll yarn over and pull through 2 loops at a time. And as long as the next 2 loops are of the same color, you'll just yarn over and pull through the 2 loops. Okay, but as we near the color change, let's see what happens. So at some point, the next 2 loops are still white, so we're going to pull through the white, but now you can see the next 2 loops, there's a white and a blue. There's 2 different colors. Okay, so now we're going to drop this white yarn. We're going to pull back up the blue. When there's 2 colors on your hook that you need to pull through, you're going to work the original color through. And then once you do that and you're back to 1 color, then you can finish the row. And then if you pull your ends tight, you can see that we've completed the row and we've made a color change right in the middle. And it looks really loose right now because of all these, big holes, but let's just work the next row all in blue to see what happens. Now, if you want to capture the yarn, similar to knitting, you can take your main color and put it under, so you can kind of capture the second color while you make the next loop. So you can pull this to the right, and then this comes over it, so it kind of captures that in the back, and then yarn over. And continue working through. So now you see that the bottom, this row is complete, and you have, this looks a little bit loose here because that's the end, so you're just going to pull that tight, and this will be woven in later. So you can see you are able to change colors in the middle of the row. Okay, so here I have completed one extra row of the blue. You can see the color change on the row below. And now let's say we want to switch our next row to be white. So we are at the end of this row of blue. This is the end of our reverse row, and I have two loops left on my hook. Now this is similar to the way you change color in single crochet or double crochet, where you want to change color before you finish the last stitch. So I have two loops on my hook, and I'm not going to yarn over with my blue. I'm going to put my blue to the back and to the right, and then I'm going to pull up my second color, wrap it around my crochet hook, and then pull the second color through this last loop. And this will give me the right color loop on the hook to start the next row. Okay. And then I can just keep those two tails, both the blue one and the white one, behind me, work into the vertical bar, pull up a loop, and then continue down across the row. Now, one tip here that I want to show you is, because I don't like weaving in ends, so I like to weave in ends as I work. I'm going to make sure the blue is out of the way, because I don't want to deal with the blue right now, but you can also weave in the blue yarn the same way I'll show you how to weave in the white. So you have this white tail here, and then you have the active yarn. I'm going to take my crochet hook, insert it under the vertical bar, and then I'm going to put this tail over my crochet hook, and then hold that in place, yarn over, and pull it under the tail through the vertical bar. And now I have two loops on the hook, and this tail is kind of looped over my active yarn. And then for my next stitch, I'll insert my hook into the vertical bar, but this time I'm going to leave the tail down and then just do a yarn over, pull through the loop, the vertical bar, and now I have 3 loops on the hook. And I'm going to alternate having the tail both over and then under the crochet hook with each stitch. So into the vertical bar, and then the previous stitch was over, so now we're going to put this crochet hook under the tail, yarn over, go through the tail and the bar, and pull up a loop, and then into the next one. This time we're going to go over, pull up a loop. And if you turn it to the back, you can see I've captured the tail right here all the way under these 4 stitches. So if I continue to do that, that's one way I can capture the tail and not have to worry about weaving it in later. So that is how you change colors at the beginning of a row, and then just an extra tip on how to weave in the ends as you go. Okay, so now let's say I started my row with the white, and then a few stitches in, I want to switch to the blue. The blue is still here. I haven't cut it yet because the blue is left over from the previous row. I've attached my white, so I have a tail end here, and I want to use the blue in a few stitches. Okay, so similar to the way that we were able to weave the tail in, I am going to carry the blue as I go until the point where I need to start using it. So the blue is over here, which means I can work into the first vertical bar without worrying about the blue. So let's do that. And then I'm going to work into the next vertical bar, but this time I'm going to tuck the crochet hook under. And this is similar to how we were able to weave the yarn in as we worked. Then we pick up the white and pull up a loop into the next vertical bar, and then over the blue, pick up the white and pull up a loop into the next vertical bar, under the blue, pick up the white, over the blue, pick up the white. So we've been able to capture the blue yarn in the back almost invisibly, and we can do this as long as we need to until we need to use the blue yarn. So we alternate going under and over the blue. You want to make sure you leave enough slack in the yarn that you carry, and then now we have both colors available to us. So let's say in this next stitch I want to use the blue, then I just drop the white, pull it to the right side. I've inserted my hook under this vertical bar, and then I pick up the blue instead of the white. And I can complete the row. And then on our reverse row, we chain one, and then work through 2 loops at a time. This is exactly the same as how we change colors in the middle of the row. We're going to work a yarn over and then pull through 2 loops on the hook until you reach the point where you're going to have 2 different colors. And that's when you drop the blue and then you pick up the loop of the new color. And in this case, I like to pull this yarn to the right and then work the blue over it, which in a way captures the blue yarn in the back. So yarn over with the white and then pull through the 2 colors and then complete the row. Now if you're going to do white in the next row, then you'll complete this last stitch in white. If you're going to switch colors, then this next stitch that you pull will be in the new color. So that's how you can carry a yarn forward until the point where you need it, and you can switch colors in the middle of a row. And now the last color change that I want to show you is, let's say I do want to change colors right at the end, and I want this next row to start in blue. So right now the loop on my hook is white, which is incorrect because I want to start off in blue. And the last time I used blue was all the way over in the middle of the row here. Now what I can do is take a look at my options. I have to cross 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stitches, which is kind of right on the border of whether I want to cut it or not. So you want to think, do you want to just cut this end and then start over? Or do you want to try to pull this yarn all the way over and carry it back, and then carry it this whole row? And that's kind of a personal choice. Like I said, 7 is kind of right on the border of what, I'm not sure what I would do in this case, but I'm going to show you how to carry it. All right, so we're at the last stitch of the white row. I'm going to grab the blue, I'm going to pull it through. So I'm going to start the next row with the blue. I have a blue loop on the hook, and the carry is really tight right now because I just didn't give myself a lot of slack. So I want to stretch the piece out a little bit, and then I know that this is about as much as I need, if I wanted the final piece to be able to stay stretchy. Okay, and I'm holding on to the loop on the hook so that it doesn't accidentally keep tightening this yarn that I need to carry, because I need it to be stretchy. Okay, so let's work the first stitch, which is under the vertical bar, and I'm going to go under the yarn that I want to carry and then pull up a loop, and then again alternate. So this time I'm not going to go under, I'm going to go over and then pick up my yarn, and then I'm going to go under and pick up my yarn, over, under, this is over, so then this stitch is under, it's the very last stitch, but I want to capture it anyway, pull it through, and then continue with my simple stitches. And then you can see the yarn that we carried, I had ended here, right? I had ended here, I needed the blue, I carried a length all the way across, and then I was able to capture it in the back so that you can't really tell that it's there. And then on the reverse row, it doesn't matter because about the capturing, because that already happened below. Right here we have white yarn that we can use, right? Because it's still close enough. I don't have to drag it a long way, so I can close off with my blue, or if I decide that I need to switch to the white, I can always pull the white, but I always like pulling the yarn that I don't use to the right, and then picking up the yarn that I do want to use. Say I'm starting off with the white again, and this is a nice easy way to make stripes in your Tunisian crochet as well. So you're just alternating which color you pick up along the edges. Okay, so I've showed you a couple different ways to change colors. One is just a very simple switching in the middle of the row on your forward row, and then how to make sure that you get the stitches and the colors right on the reverse row. We've seen how to switch colors at the beginning of rows. I showed you how to weave in and end. And then the same technique is used whether you want to carry yarn forward or you want to pull yarn back to work to a certain point. When you come up against a color change, you do have to look ahead a little bit and think about, should I cut my yarn and start new? Am I going to use it again? Should I cut my yarn when I'm done? Or will it be used one more row up and then I can just carry it? Should I carry it forward? Should I carry it back? And those, you have to look a little bit at the bigger picture. Look at a few rows ahead to see what's coming up, so then you don't cut the yarn and then realize you're just going to pick it right back up again. And if you can just stay a little bit ahead of where you are, then you'll be able to change colors smartly and save yourself some ends to weave in. I hope you enjoyed this video and found this tutorial helpful. If you did, I'd love it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much. See you next time.